There are a handful of RTS series that have truly defined their time. Age of Empires, StarCraft, Command & Conquer, and then there's Dawn of War. Few games have captured the brutal, chaotic spirit of Warhammer 40,000 quite like it. From sprawling base building battles of the first game, to the gritty squad level tactics of Dawn of War 2, all the way to the somewhat divisive experiments of Dawn of War 3, this series has never been afraid to reinvent itself for better or worse. Now, after years of silence, Dawn of War is back, and it's not just in rumour but officially. The announcement landed only yesterday, and we've already had the chance to go hands-on with an early skirmish demo. That's right, we played Dawn of War 4. Before I dive in, a quick thank you to Plyon for sponsoring today's video and giving us the chance to play early. We really appreciate you supporting the channel. If you want to find out more, there's a link in the description below that will take you straight to the official info. Do it, check it out, it really helps support us here. For those of you who are new here, my name is Tom, this is LT Gaming, where we explore the best of strategy, tactics and everything in between. If you enjoy thoughtful previews like this and you want to see more, do hit the like button, it helps us on YouTube a lot. Subscribe if you feel like it, we're pushing towards 100k and every bit of support makes a difference. And of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video in the comments. What do you want from Dawn of War 4? Because that's the real question for me after all. After such a long wait, is it going to satisfy the fans in the community? Now, for me, the heart of Dawn of War has always been the very first game. I've spent countless hours with it, building bases, marching squads of Space Marines across blasted battlefields, and watching the grimdark vision of Warhammer 40,000 come alive on screen. With the definitive edition recently dropping, which by the way is fantastic, I couldn't be more amped to see the series return to its roots. Now, Dawn of War 2 deserves a mention here too. I'll be honest, I didn't love it as much as the first game, but I still respected what they tried to do with it. It stripped away most of the base building and focused hard on squad tactics, cover and co-op campaigns. It was a bold direction, no doubt, leaning more into the intimate boots on the ground feel. For some fans, it's a masterpiece, for others, maybe too sharp a departure, but you can't deny it had guts and it gave us some incredible campaign moments along the way. Now, we can't talk Dawn of War without addressing the elephant in the room, and that is Dawn of War 3. Let's be honest, it was a massive misstep. Everything that could go wrong did. The gameplay ended up with this kind of weird, strange MOBA RTS hybrid that pleased absolutely nobody. The plot felt like generic Warhammer fanfiction, the campaign forced you to juggle all three factions instead of really owning any of them, and the characters, well, they had the depth of a puddle on a hot day. It's a chapter most of us want to forget. But here's the thing, fans have always known what they wanted, and that is the grim dark spectacle of Dawn of War 1, expanded or modernised, bigger battles, more brutal violence and a proper sense of scale and immersion. That's what people have been waiting for, and after spending some time with the alpha build, I can tell you it feels like those hopes are finally going to be delivered, and in spades. So let's dive into some details into exactly how it plays. So let's talk about the version of the game I played, because this is where Dawn of War 4 told me what it's going to be all about. I jumped in as the playable faction, which was the Space Marines, facing down Orks and Necrons with a light assist from the Imperial Guard. What begins as a straightforward one-on-one against the Orks soon sprawled into a glorious, violent three-way melee. The kind of escalating chaos that Dawn of War has always handled so well. Resource-wise, it's a return to the series' roots. Requisition and power are back, tied to capturing points across the map, but scaled up and modernised. You're not just hoovering up nodes, you're actively fighting over key areas that shape the whole battlefield. That sense of pushing out, seizing ground and holding against the tide feels essential to the grimdark setting, and I was thrilled to see it back. And base building, it is back with a vengeance. No sitting back and no passive waiting for upgrades to drip feed. You've got to seize the initiative, expand aggressively and build with purpose. The old DNA of Dawn of War 1 is alive here, but layered with modern strategy pacing. It's faster, more purposeful, without ever tipping into frantic. It feels like decisions that actually matter. The Space Marines themselves are everything you would hope for. Fewer units compared to the Orcs' endless green tide, but incredibly hard hitting and highly customizable. There is nothing quite like swapping out your boulders for flamers to torch a horde, or slapping on a las cannon onto a turret and watching enemy armor melt. And when the Dreadnoughts arrive, it is spectacular. They just reap havoc, tearing into anything foolish enough to stand in their way. Paired that with some Terminators kitted out just right, and you've got the iconic hammer blow power fantasy that only Warhammer 40k can deliver. Across several runs of the scenario, I found myself refining my approach, focusing on my unit choice, experimenting with upgrades, finding just the right time to push. It's that perfect blend of tactical weight and satisfying impact. Combat, I gotta say, it feels immense. Every clash hits hard, every victory feels earned, and there were moments when I had to sit back and just smile because it was Dawn of War exactly as I remembered it, but bigger, louder, sharper, and brought into the modern world. The more I played, the more I realised this wasn't just a nostalgia play. Dawn of War 4 is pulling forward the best bits of the series and adding modern layers that really work. Cover is here again, and it's meaningful. Using scouts and range units tucked behind cover to control ground felt fantastic, while units caught out in the open were chewed apart in seconds. It really rewarded smart positioning and gave battles that tactical ebb and flow. Something really cool I connected with was the retreat command. Honestly, they're a lifesaver. Being able to pull battered squads back, regroup and re-engage added a new rhythm in fights. No more throwing units away just because they got caught out of position. It makes you think more like a commander, not just a clicker. One of the biggest surprises was the veterancy system. As your army fights, they gain XP and evolve, meaning your Space Marines can be fewer in number but hit harder and feel more impactful if managed well. Pair that with deep squad customization, swapping out weapons and tailoring loadouts to shred infantry or armor, and suddenly your decisions will really shape the battlefield. Vehicles lean into this too. Predator tanks feel like juggernauts when equipped right, and Dreadnoughts, they stomp around like the living engines of destruction that they are. The overall presentation, even at this early stage, is strong. Yes, there were placeholders in the demo, but the graphics already looked stellar, and when the action ramped up, it felt like zooming out of Space Marine 2 into a fully strategic overview. Cinematic spectacle and tactical grit working hand in hand. From Dreadnoughts hammering Necron warriors into scrap, to tanks blasting Ork mobs into red mist, it really captured that Warhammer 40,000 brutality in a way that felt both fresh and authentic. Now, I could easily call this a return to form for Dawn of War, but honestly, that feels like a disservice. What I played isn't just leaning on nostalgia, it's taking a big leap forward. Dawn of War 4 has the potential to be the RTS title of 2025 and beyond. The one to beat. With the genre stirring again thanks to projects like Tempest Rising and the recent release of Stronghold Crusader Definitive Edition, it feels like Dawn of War 4 is poised to climb atop the golden throne of real-time strategy, bold, confident and very clear in its identity. So why should fans be buzzing? Well, for me, this is the most excited I've been playing an RTS in years. And that's off the back of a single bloody skirmish map, so imagine what I'm gonna do with the game. The scale, the weight of combat, the sheer respect for the grim dark tone, it just all clicked for me. Fighting for the Emperor, commanding a handful of elite Space Marines against the endless hordes of Orks and the relentless Necrons, it captured everything I love about the franchise and blew it up for the modern era. And that tactical depth that the series is known for is already shining through. Auto reinforcements for units on the field, garrisoning cover, deploying quick hammerfell bunkers to the field, retreating and dropping in my reserves to turn the tide at a key moment. Each battle had options, layers and meaningful decisions. If we combine that with full campaigns, multiple races and the complete Warhammer 40k treatment, and honestly we could be cooking with something truly special here. So drawing all this together for you LT gamers, I gotta say this was the most fun I've had with an RTS in years. The weighty feel of combat to the sheer brutality of the grimdark setting, and yeah, those nostalgia feels as well. Dawn of War 4 reminded me why I fell in love with the franchise in the first place, and if this is what a single skirmish match can deliver for me, I can only imagine how good the full campaign and the whole shebang with a wider roster of factions is gonna be. And that's just my take. I want to know what you guys think. Does this sound like the Dawn of War you've been waiting for all these years? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm going to be reading through every one of them and joining the discussion as always. If you enjoyed the preview and you want more deep dives into the best upcoming games, do hit like, it helps us a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you feel I've earned it, and help us on the road to 100k. It really makes a massive difference to Luke and I getting your support. Until next time, I've been Tom for LT Gaming, and in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war for the Emperor.